in session in the quantum. Yo, good morning, people, or good evening, whatever time you're listening to this. I hope you're blessed. I hope you're keeping well. Welcome back to another episode. And guys, I've had a rebrand. I know I'm only 3 episodes in, but I've decided to change the name. Obviously, as you guys know, I've got a YouTube channel called Will's Way, and I wanted to really try to keep these two elements the same, if you know what I mean. So this is now officially called the Will's Way Quantum Podcast. So it's slightly different to what it was at Quantum Success. And I just thought I had to change the name, to try to align the two things, because they're very similar in terms of the content of what we're trying to produce here. So I rebranded it as well. I think you guys want to notice when you clicked on this podcast, if you're following me right now, which I'm forever divinely grateful if you are, that the picture's changed and you'll see the logo. And it's like a brain with some like strong arms coming out the brain, and the representation of that is like strong willpower. You know what I mean? Like a strong brain, like, can give you a very abundant life. And like, you know what? I'm still on my journey in terms of finding myself, in terms of really experiencing the best life I possibly can. But what I really want to try to do is create this platform where you guys can sort of come along with me and experience these things as well. You know what I mean? So, I just want to say a big thank you as well. We had over 200 downloads over the first 3 podcasts, which is incredible. Completely blown me away, and I'm really going to start up in the game. We're going to start getting some really cool guests on the show as well, and we're in the motions of reaching out to some people that I really think could bring you some incredible value to your lives. And these people are massively respected in what they do, and I respect these people so much as well. So the first guest, Kylie, last week, people loved that episode, and thank you for all your comments on social media about how it went and stuff like that. Honestly, it means a lot to me. But today's episode, we're going to actually start to talk about one of the subjects in my life that I've not been obsessed with, but something that I've been studying. I think it's always important in life to be a student, not a follower, they say, because the whole idea of being a student is that you're trying to not find flaws in things, but you're trying to observe, you know what I mean, and trying to take information on an observing point of view. So wealth and money has been something, I think, that we all in our life has been programmed to want profusely, you know what I mean. From an early age, we're always understanding what can get us the toys we want, what can get us the things we want in life, and it always results down to that one word that I think a lot of us have become quite obsessed with. It is money and wealth and affluence. And do you know what? I've learned a lot from a lot of books that I've read in the last couple of years that have really taught me about the whole mindset in terms of how we need to be able to really be in the affluent zone, in terms of being abundant in that monetary zone. But at the same time, like, I honestly believe that you can work extremely hard and still have no results, and it's all because of how we're subconsciously attracting new things. And if you listen to my second podcast about law of attraction, you'll understand that our thoughts and our actions are ones that we create and manifest in our life. And the same goes with money. And it's the laws are always there. Like I said, they're laws of nature, but whatever you apply them to whatever subject, they remain the same. So I'm going to go through some of the things I learned in some of these books that really changed my life when I implemented these techniques. I've always been able to get money. I've always been able to provide some sort of value, and I've always worked very hard in my life, right? But I was struggling to get to that place of affluence where I was becoming extremely comfortable. I'm not going to really be like saying any figures or anything, but I just want you guys to know that everyone's aims and goals are different. And I think understanding affluence is being in a place where you're not feeling frustrated because you haven't got enough. Like, if you're feeling good and content because you've got a nice pot there and a fund there to do what you need to do, I'd say you're in affluence, because that means that you've got enough to be able to carry out your purpose and your dreams. So, like, obviously different scales can, you can say, right, a millionaire would want 5 million, whereas someone who is not a millionaire would be more than happy with 500,000. Like, the scale in here, just please try not to connotate like affluence and wealth to millionaires, because You know, I know there's been plenty of millionaires that have not been happy in life. So that for me is not being wealthy. You know what I mean? You might have a lot of money, which is a digital number in your bank account or a lot of notes in your back pocket. But if you're not happy with that, it's not what affluence is. You know, being affluent is sort of having enough to be able to, being in abundance of money to be able to fund what you love to do. And when you're in that zone, that's when you're most happiest. So like, please don't get it twisted, guys, you know what I mean? So I'm going to explain a couple of books that I read that massively changed my perception, and I'm going to drop some gems today. Absolute gems. When I've heard these things, I was like, wow, oh my God, I have been doing that, and I now understand why I'm not in the position I need to be. I've been working hard. You know what I mean? A lot of people think working hard is enough to get you there. I'm sorry, it's not. It's what you subconsciously believe in terms of what you're worth is what you will attract. And you could be working your ass off, you know what I mean? And you could be like attracting bills, debt, and all these misfortunate circumstances that we can come across in life. And you could think, why is this? Why is the world against me? A lot of people say that in terms of, oh, I've got another bill coming out, the world's against me. But it's not the fact the world's against you. It's the fact that the laws of nature are pretty much reacting to the way you subconsciously believe. You know, and another thing is quite important to explain in this. Dr. Joseph Murphy is the author. Really started teaching me these elements in terms of affluence and what they are. And the book was called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And he's also written a book about attracting wealth as well. I think it's called Attracting Wealth. And both books are incredible on how they explain how your subconscious behavior really transmutes what we see in this physical realm. And I've talked about it in Law of Attraction podcast number 2. I advise you have a listen to that. If you're coming into this one, listen to that one first and try to listen to this one. It will make a lot more sense on what I'm trying to say. But I'm going to dive deep in, and a lot of people think, I think a lot of people are desperate for money, and that's the problem. Like, that desperation is really unhealthy in terms of lack and limitation. Because if you're desperate for something, you're wanting it so bad to the point that you're desperate, and that can actually create a lot of problems in your life in terms of unblocking the affluence for money to flow in and out of your life. And money really it's just energy. A lot of people get confused with it and think it's everything, and you can't be thinking of it in that way. You know, you've got to love it. You've got to love it, but you can't think of it as the end all for every single thing in this life, and that's the only thing that matters. Because if you start thinking of it that way, you'll start to, idolize that. You'll start to think of it as something that is scarce, because whenever you get your hands on it, you'll end up, either being too cautious with it and not really spending anything to, in terms of like growing more wealth, or you'll be like completely, utterly the opposite end of the spectrum and spending it. You know what I mean? And both can really cause blocks in affluence, if you know what I mean. So really, all money is just an energy, really, and I feel it's like an energy that is in this world that is transferred to people, and it, to be honest, it moves from them that don't appreciate it, and it moves to them that do appreciate it. So it's like almost if you get money and you spend it on stuff that is not necessarily going to advance you, your appreciation for that money is less than the things that you're buying. So say for example you get paid, you end up going out and spending a heap load of money on loads of clothes and stuff, and I'm not dissing that. I think it's still nice to look and feel wealthy, of course, but there's levels to it. You're buying a Supreme t-shirt for 500 quid when you got paid £1,000. That is a problem, you know what I mean? Because you're basically saying, I don't appreciate this money in terms of what I'm buying. I appreciate the goods and the materialistic things that it's getting me. That's what I appreciate more, and that money will move from your hands to somebody else who appreciates it. And the thing with that is, like, that's a cycle. So until you learn how to appreciate it properly, it's always going to be fleeting from you. Do you know what I mean? And the better you manage your money, the more you'll be given to manage as well. That's another law of the universe I find is very true. You know what I mean? And I think if you're constantly trying to get rid of it, you'll be constantly trying to chase it as well. These are the things as well. And if you're constantly chasing it, your intention is not being in abundance of it. You know what I mean? Abundancy means of just knowing that the source is there, and it's forever there, and it's always going to be serving you. So you don't need to chase it then. But the problem is, so many people get into this rut of like, oh, I need money, this, money, that. They end up chasing it like all the time, and it can become really damaging in terms of their subconscious belief that there's not enough of it. You know what I mean? And the more of that thought brings more circumstances where you're going to be able to be faced with times where there's not enough of it, you know what I mean? And yeah, you know, you got to understand it's more of just a energy, I feel, you know, and this is all my opinion. Like I say, guys, don't take everything I say so literally. This is just purely coming from the thoughts of my soul and my mind. Like, end of the day, you guys can take this information and do what you want with it, you know what I mean? And like, this is just from my perspective in terms of what I've found and my experiences. So another thing is, a lot of people have this subconscious belief that money is evil and it's bad, which is just the complete... It's BS, man. Money's not bad at all. All money is a vehicle, right? Remember that. And like, it can either be an asset or a liability for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if money is an asset for you, you can end up using it to be able to get more, gain more, you know, use it to be able to create more value for the people that you're around you in your life, you know what I mean? Or it could be a liability where, you know what I mean, you spend it and you overspend and you get in debt, and you could, you know, potentially... But for example, I don't know, becoming a drug addict and needing that money all the time to be able to fund a habit. It can be used for bad, it can be used for good. The money itself isn't evil. It's the intention with the money. Do you know what I mean? That becomes bad or evil. And the intention comes from us in terms of how we use it and how we relate to it and our relationship with it. So please, people, don't ever say money is the root of all evil. Like, that actual quote was misinterpreted as well from the Bible. And if you read parables later on, it actually explained that the love for money, like, and that's a very different concept. You know, money's not evil itself, it's the love for money. So when you put money above every single thing else in the world, that's when it becomes a problem, because you're not balanced in terms of all the other areas in your life, you know. Like, life should be balanced. It should be balanced between family, friends, you know, social, money, job, career, purpose, aspiration. It should be balanced between all the elements in life that make us happy. But if it's just the end all, yeah, I can see how it can become, you know, a potentially negative thing. But money itself is not bad. Like, a lot of people have this connotation of like, you know, even how like regular people, working class people, look up to people that have gained a lot. Like, you got this subconscious hate for them. It's because they've got this and you haven't, and it's this envious cycle as well that blocks us so badly, and it keeps us where we are. And we've got to really try to unprogram that element of thinking, because like from day one when we're born on this planet, it's sort of almost ingrained in us to be able to, you know what I mean, feel bad when other people have got more than what we have. And this is the whole element in terms of separation, in terms of oneness between us and the people around us on this planet. We're all one, you know what I mean? So what we do to our brothers and sisters, or what we do to our friends or people around us as human beings, we do to ourselves as well. What intentions we have in terms of thought and energy that we put out to, you know, people in life that are potentially doing well, will come back round to us in terms of, you know, what we're feeding and our emotions towards them. So if we're feeling envious, we're gonna be, you know, we're going to be attracting more things to be envious for, and we're going to block that flow of affluence into our life. So it's understanding, really being self-aware of how do we feel, you know what I mean? And how are we relating to all of this external stuff, and how is this external stuff on this planet really making us feel inside? And also, it also comes from that element that even Dr. Joe Dispenza says about not letting our environment like shape the way we feel inside. We can shape how we feel inside to be able to actually create our environment. And that's what we're getting backwards into a degree, if you know what I mean. So I think it's just about trying to understand like our thoughts and intentions, you know what I mean? And understand how we're feeling, you know what I mean? Like, remember, our feelings create our environment. Don't let the environment create the feelings that create poorer environments for us, you know what I mean? And that's a hard thing to do. Like, if you've been living your life in a certain way for years upon years, and it's nobody's fault. I keep saying this, we're all here to evolve, we're all here to learn. Don't ever blame anyone for having these intentions, because like, remember, we're all here on this journey. We've got to be able to, you know, go into the negative to understand it, to be aware of it, you know what I mean, to go into the positive. So remember, we've got to be able to go from like low vibrational beings to high vibrational beings in terms of our intentions and the way we feel inside, you know what I mean? And you know, it's another thing as well, like in terms of these little affirmations we tell ourselves every day, these little subconscious words that we tell ourselves every day that we relate to, that we're so automatically ingrained to be able to do, is trying to come out of them behaviors and start to program our brains in a different type of way. And this is a real exciting time, guys, because we all have the power to do this. A lot of people believe that some people are destined for wealth and some, you know, other people aren't, which is an absolute lie. We all got the same capabilities as human beings. We're all very equal in terms of what we can attract, and we all are extremely special people that have the ability to be able to manifest our environments. Okay, granted, we may not start in the same positions, right? But sometimes that can prove to our advantage. You know, there's some of the most successful people on this planet, in terms of what they've done in terms of value and provide value to the world, have started from real meager beginnings as well. And there's loads of success stories, and I'm not going to start going through them all, but there's another argument. People would say, well, some people start with more, but it doesn't really matter what you start with and where we are. The fact is that we can change from this point on in the present moment, and we have the power to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So always give yourself that understanding that we're special, man. We've got this special ability to be able to think and grow into something better than what we were yesterday. But it takes a lot of practice, and it requires a lot of self-awareness, you know what I mean? So here's some examples of how we can actually do that, how we can tap into this resource, and little things and little tips we can do every single day to change these subconscious beliefs and change our behavior, so we can start to really get into affluence. So the first one would be stop affirming your debt and start really feeling worthy in terms of what you believe, in terms of your monetary aspirations. So a lot of us have, you know, goals and aims that are very meager in terms of, oh, I want to get a promotion that will give me an extra £2,000 per year. That is extremely small thinking. This is how I used to feel and think. I used to fight for a promotion. I used to work my bum off and put extra hours in, and you know, and I used to fight for this. I used to work so hard, and I'd never get it. I'd never get it because I was so desperate for it, and it never came around to me. But you know what? That sparked me to create my own business in the end, because I got so annoyed with it. So that was like a blessing in disguise. But just going to use that example as well. Like, you know, at that time, I was fighting for like an extra £2,000 per year. And if you took away tax upon that, you know, you're probably only talking about 1,600 extra. You divide that by 12, you know what I mean? You know, you're only probably talking about like £200, you know, £150 to £200 extra per month. That's what I was fighting for. Nothing, pennies. And I think about back to it now, and it's not embarrassing, but it's like painful to think that they were my intentions. But now I've got goals in different areas of my life in terms of affluence and wealth that are so big, and I honestly believe I will be there. And it's such a different it's such a shift, you know what I mean? As soon as you shift that way of thinking in terms of what you're worth, and you start like visualizing these things and having the real feelings of having it before it's here, and then really embodying that feeling and then really believing it, your subconscious starts to believe that as well. Remember, it doesn't take like truth or false, it just takes it literally. So if we're affirming that we're wealth and we're abundant and we're feeling that way, and we're feeling like we've already got it, the subconscious brain will take it for what it is. And it's the same as feeling unworthy for the money and feeling crap about it and always saying, oh, I can never afford this, I can never afford that, I'm always got debt. So as soon as you start getting into that cycle of doing that, your subconscious brain is starting to write, you know, these real negative things in terms of affluence into your brain, and it's always going to produce them results. Remember, everything that, if you can just try to think of it this way, try not to think too much into quantum physics and all the science of it, but just think what your subconscious believes, it will transmute in your reality. So if it believes and has this paradigm, which is like a belief system that you're not worthy for money and you're in debt, it will keep producing the same circumstances. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking unhealthy thoughts about your money in terms of what you've got in terms of debt, and always thinking, oh, why is it always happening to me? There's a shift that needs to happen in terms of you thinking on the other positive side of things, that you're wealthy and you're abundant and you're worthy of it. So stop affirming these things and stop saying, oh, you know, all the time when you'll get debt, like, I'm always in debt, I can't afford it. Stop saying that. So like another thing as well, like in your mind, we'll do it thousands of times per day. When we see something nice, what we want online, especially now with phones, you know what I mean? When you're scrolling through, you know, online shops and stuff, you'll always affirm in your brain, I can't afford it, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. Stop that straight away, because every single time you do that, you're implanting a little seed into your subconscious saying you can't. Right, and that is it's just so unhealthy in terms of trying to transmute wealth. So every time you have that thought, you stop yourself straight away and you say to yourself, it is a divine idea and I accept it. And every time you have that thought, even if you have that thought 10 times per day, you think in the other way and you affirm it's a divine idea, I accept it. Like you're saying, it is something that I accept within my life. You will start to change that thought process and concept around it. And it's just a little trigger. So it's just first being aware that you're doing it. That's the thing, because it's so automatic. As soon as you become aware, you can start employing this little tactic in your brain and just saying, as soon as you start thinking, I can't afford that, I can't afford to do this, just think it's a divine idea, I accept it, and just see what happens. It's a beautiful little trick, that I've employed, and it creates incredible results. So that's the first thing. Number 2, stop moving with the mass mind in terms of your monetary beliefs. So when I say that, it's the people around you. A lot of people around you, as soon as you start growing in terms of thinking more wealthy and thinking more success and thinking like on a different energy plane, that energy plane is going to be felt, And the thing is, what happens is people's insecurities will always try to bring you back down to their level. And it's just a natural defense system of them trying to, not let you go above where they are in life. And this is a funny thing. And this as well is so important, that you don't surround yourself with people that have goals and aspirations that are a lot lower than what yours are. And, the thing is with that, it can be very detrimental, because even being around these people can start to have play an effect on your subconscious in terms of what you believe. And, the thing is, when you're going through the stages of trying to reprogram this part of your belief system, like, people can become a real threat to that. So always try to protect that, as well. And like, even when you're getting in conversation with people, you'll start to get into this automatic conversation in terms of like what is, in terms of what you're doing and what your actions are for the day. And some people may not agree, but some people may not align to your values. You know what I mean? Say, for example, I woke up to that 5 o'clock, went for a run. I was meditating by 5:45 to half 6. Like, if I told people that, people would be like, what the hell are you doing? But it's just because my values are different to other people's. But be careful in like who you surround yourself with in terms of displaying your new goals and aspirations to be able to acquire wealth, because a lot of the time, if their values are not on the same frequency or wavelength as yours, they're going to try to bring you down. You don't want that, man. We want to grow as people. So sometimes we need to make that conscious decision and choice to be able to surround ourselves with people with similar values. And that's as well, our mentors are so important. You know what I mean? In terms of who we listen to on a daily. Like, another tip is listen to someone's values or someone's life you find inspirational in the morning when you're going for your run. Or a good podcast that really gets your brain thinking in terms of ways to make extra money, passive ways. There's millions of ways to make money out there, millions, but we just don't know them. That's all it is, we're just unaware of the processes of them. And generally we find ourselves in this job that we do, and we just think that's the only way, and that's what we chase, and we chase this career ladder that is so unfulfilling. It's unbelievable, you know what I mean? And like, a lot of the time we can actually create our own businesses, we can create our own value in this crazy way, but because the mass mind and a very small percentage of people are doing it, it's very difficult for you to fall in line with that belief, you know what I mean? Because the less people that are doing it, the less likely you're going to be, the less likely you're going to be surrounded with people that are, you know what I mean? So like, start to align yourself with people that have done it, and these people can be on podcasts, and you can start gaining incredible mentors just from listening to these people in the morning. And it can give you so much inspiration and ideas, man, you know what I mean? And you'll find it has a massive effect on your life in terms of who you surround yourself with and who you pick to be your mentor. You've got this mad selection out there. You've got this information on these podcasts. You've got, incredible mentors, you know. Like I listen to Tim Ferriss, he's incredible. Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Smart Passive Income podcast, which is incredible. Like all these podcasts are so valuable. Ty Lopez is another guy that I love listening to as well. And they've all got different views and perceptions, but they all have the belief they can. And that's what really starts to rub off on you, if you know what I mean, if you start listening to this regularly. So make it a part of your life. You know, incorporate a good mentor, surround yourself with people that align with values where you want to go. You know what I mean? A next step would be never be envious of people with wealth. This is another problem. A lot of people are like, oh, he's got money, I don't like him. But why? This guy potentially give so much value to the world and what he's done, and he's been compensated with this other energy, which is called money. And like when you start thinking of it that way, it definitely changes your perception to, oh my God, this guy fleets people to become where he is. Because I can tell you, the law of compensation generally will expose people for what they've done. So if someone has actually earned money in a wrong way or something that wasn't moral, like the universal laws will come and sort them out, man. This is what karma does. Like there's no evading karma. Like generally what you'll find is extremely wealthy people have provided a lot of value to the people, and they've just exchanged that value for money. So they, you know, probably are, and they probably do deserve to be there. And like this envious traits that, like I even used to have this subconscious thing where someone would have a lot of money, or like, you know, when you see someone drive past in a Maserati or something like that, bro, or a Ferrari, you're like, oh, what, you know, I'm not going to swear on it, but you know, you subconsciously think, oh, idiot. Like, you know what I mean? Because he's got that, like, what the hell give us the right to make that assumption just because he's got a nice car? It's just a subconscious belief, man. Like, we don't like it because we haven't got it. You know what I mean? But we probably don't deserve it if we haven't got it. And this is the whole law of this is the whole law of compensation at play as well. So stop being envious, because what we think on other people is done straight back to us. It's like a boomerang, man. Why would you want to chuck a boomerang for it to hit you straight back in the face? You know what I mean? So, like, understand that people that have got wealth have probably acquired it in a way that they've provided a lot of value to the world. Do you know what I mean? And be grateful for that. You know what I mean? Like, send love for that. You know what I'm saying? And when you send love to someone else, what do you get back? You get love. These are all laws of nature, people. It's just programming our ego to be able to say, well, stop there. You know what I mean? We need to start like understanding it from a different perspective, you know? There's a lot of different ways we can look at things, you know what I mean? And a lot of the time we look at things in a negative way, which brings negative circumstances back to us. We should see these people as inspirations. We should see these people as like, wow, how did they get that? Like when I have a look at someone who's got, you know, incredible assets and like great businesses that provide incredible value, I look at their lives and I think, how did they get that? How did they get there? What types of people do they have to be? What mindset do they have to be in this position? Like, how much willpower did this guy have to have? How did he navigate to become in the position he is? So I get really interested in that, whereas other people get envious. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone else right here. I'm just trying to say, like, try to look at things in a different perspective. And when you start, you know, appreciating it, you'll start to actually find new ways, and you'll start to actually research how they did, and you'll start to actually find new concepts and ways of making more. You know what I mean? And it'll start to have a profound effect when you stop being so envious, you know, to everyone else. And the last step, guys, is auto-suggestion, and this is a game changer. So I'm going to now recite some words that I read every single morning and every single night just before I go to bed, right? And it's a small quote, and it's about being in that theta brainwave state. Like I actually explained this in Law of Attraction podcast before, about being in this state where your subconscious is really impressionable, where you're really calm, you're relaxed, there's not a lot of thoughts in your brain, and your conscious mind is quite dumbed down, and it's sort of like almost asleep. So I'm now going to read out this affirmation, and this was from Dr. Joseph Murphy. If you type it into YouTube, you'll find it, and it's everywhere, and there's loads of these affirmations, because it works, man. Because it works, and ever since I've been using this, I've been having some great little surprises in my life that have come in at really unexpected times and really random. So I'm now going to read you. I've now got my auto-suggestion book out, actually. I've got it in front of me, and this is what I read every single morning. There's quite a few different goals that I read out, but I'm going to read you the one that is designated just to wealth, okay? So I'm now going through it. I'm just going to the page. Bear with me one sec. So here it is, guys, and listen deeply, all right? I affirm that I'm now writing into my subconscious brain the idea of the universe's wealth. The universe is the source of my supply, and I know that the universe is the life principle within me. I know that I'm alive and all my needs are being met at every moment of time and point of space. The universe's wealth flows freely, joyously and effortlessly into my experience, and I give thanks for the riches forever circulating in my life, for all I need in the attainment of my desires and my dreams. And repeat that 5 times and say it like you feel it, man. Feel wealthy when you're saying it. Really feel it, embody that saying of wealth, and just imagine you with all the money you need to be able to do everything you want to do, to provide value to the world. Because remember, when we provide value to the world, we get it back. This is what affluence is, people. Like, we shouldn't just want money to have money. That's not how it works, yeah? We need that money to be able to put into our purpose, our passion, to be able to give value. So, for example, I'm a musician. That money comes to me. I can be able to create with this money that then gives other people the joy of listening to my music. It's affluence, and it comes back round again. And remember, when we can start to tie this type of like belief in terms of like, this is like energy that I have infinite source to. I've got infinite source to this energy. This is mine, and my intention is to be able to give the world beautiful value from it. And giving the world value from what you do is more powerful than having that money, because having it is not even like, it's not even like, having that money is not where the fulfillment comes, man. It comes from like giving value to the world. When someone says, I love your music, that changed me, that changed, like, you know, I love that song, it moved me. That's when you get that happiness, you know what I mean? But remember, we can encompass it all. So please, people, try that. Try it every single morning, every single night. Try it. And if you like literally apply these 4 steps into your life, you'll start to see a massive shift. And a lot of people think, well, aren't you going to give me any tips to make anything? Are you going to give me any quick, like, get rich quick schemes in terms of like these little, you know, I'm not about that. I'm about changing your subconscious so you can have this forever. You know what I mean? You'll attract new ways to make money when you start programming your subconscious. You'll start attracting new things that will come up and new ways and means to earn money. You'll attract a mentor that will be able to help you. You'll start attracting this soon as you start opening up your belief system to affluence. And that, guys, is my tips for affluence, and I hope you enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I hope I didn't go on for too long. But we always doing this, we're always going in, people, you know what I mean? I love that. I sort of lost myself there, and I had to sort of remind myself where I was, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in my studio and I'm talking to you people. So guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode. With 4 episodes in, there's so much cool juicy content to come, and please as well, I've rebranded everything and we'll have a website coming real soon. I'll be able to give you the domain for that next week when it's set up. But we've also got new socials, so obviously follow me at Willstar22 as well. It's WILSTAR22. And as well, we've got new Will's Way Twitter and Instagram accounts. So it's Will's Way free. So that's WILLSWAY free for Instagram and Twitter. Add me up on them socials as well. We're going to start to do some polls and stuff like that. And as well, guys, please, if you like the podcast, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review. And what I'm doing now, the first 5 reviews that people leave, I'll send them a copy of my new EP, Free Magik. Is a beautiful compilation of music that drops so many gems in terms of spiritual growth and bangers as well, man. Complete bangers with some crazy rap in. Like the first 5 people that leave me a review, I will send an EP. So within that, within your review, please put one of your Instagram handles or like a way I can contact you, and then I can get one of these CDs off to you guys. So guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I'm sending love, sending light. In the quantum, I've been searching in the quantum.